नमस्कार। श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृत तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदादतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृतो प्रथम भाग चतुर्थ खंडो सप्तम परिच्छेद. And Sri Ramakrishna is addressing the doubt raised by Vijay Krishna Goswami. Vijay Krishna Goswami had raised the doubt that, well, sir, you say that convert this ego from wretched to a servant ego or a devotee ego or a child ego. Now, having retained this ego, doesn't matter if it is a servant or a child or a devotee. How do the lust and anger qualities they reflect in a person who has retained this servant ego, who has retained this devotee ego, who has retained this child ego? Because Sri Ramakrishna has told earlier that unless and until the ego is destroyed completely, the passions like lust and greed and anger and jealousy, they can never go. They will be there. Now Vijay Krishna Goswami's doubt that under such circumstances, when a person has converted this unripe and wretched and rascally ego to a childlike or devotee or servant ego, how are these qualities reflected in a person? And then Sri Ramakrishna had answered that, look, these qualities, the lust and anger, they may not vanish, they may not totally get destroyed from a person. They will remain in the person, but they remain in the person just for the name's sake, just for its semblance. And he had given that example of the branch falling from the coconut tree, how it leaves that mark. Because of that mark, we come to know that at one point of time, this coconut tree had a huge branch at this spot, which is now gone. Likewise. And also he had given us another example of that sword touching the philosopher's stone, Paroshmoni, getting converted into a golden sword. The golden sword will not harm anybody. It won't even puncture the skin. What to talk of, injuring anybody? So, Sri Ramakrishna had said that once the person has the God realization, he's on the path of devotion. Once this wretched ego is converted to the devotee ego, servant ego, child ego, what happens is all these Omkarer Dhagamatro Thake, his pride, arrogance is there just like a mark. This person at one point of time used to get so angry, we used to shout, we used to fight, we used to abuse. Now there is nothing. That arrogance, that pride, everything is just like that mark on the coconut tree, mark of the fallen branch. Kam krodher akar matro thake, the lust and anger, they only retain that shape and form of the sword, of the iron sword which has touched the philosopher's stone, Parushmani. It will only look like, but it doesn't have any capacity. It doesn't have any capacity to harm anyone, to injure anyone. Baloker obostha hoye. The man becomes like a small child. How innocent the child is. Sri Ramakrishna says, he just becomes like a child. Childlike, not childish. The person with the devotee ego starts behaving like a child. All his thinking, all his, the behavior, all his attitude, it becomes like a child. Now, Sri Ramakrishna he further explains what does it mean like childlike? Baloker যেমন সত্য রজতম গুণের মধ্যে কোন গুণের অন্ত নাই. Now Sri Ramakrishna says, the way the child he never gets affected. Although he has the sattva raja tamas in him, in the natural primordial three qualities of sattva, rajas, and tamas, of the purity, activity, and lethargy, jadatva. All these three qualities are there in the moment a child takes birth. Being part of this universe, being part of this prakriti, the three qualities, three guna, automatically get with it, get with the birth. But the child is not affected. They might be there inside. They might be there inside, the sattva, rajas, and tamas, but it is not at all affected. The child has got nothing to do with these three gunas till the stage that is child. Grow up and these qualities, these especially the rajas and tamas, they start playing havoc. So Sri Ramakrishna says, যেমন সত্য রজতম গুণের মধ্যে কোন গুণের আঁট নাই in the child. None of the three gunas they have any influence as such over the behavior of the child. বালকের কোন জিনিসের উপর টান করতেও যতক্ষণ তাকে ছাড়তেও ততক্ষণ. The child will be attached to one thing to such an extent, but the very next moment you see the child has given up that thing. You don't know how a child behaves. He might be so much attached to a pennyworth thing, an insignificant thing from our perspective. He might be so much attached. No, I will not give. And the next moment the child will just throw that thing away and won't even look again at it. That thing is gone from his mind. That attachment is gone. That kind of simplicity, that kind of innocence, that kind of the behavioral pattern a person with the childlike ego, the person with the devotee ego, the person with servant ego attains. একখানা 5 টাকার কাপড় তুমি আধো পয়সার পুতুল দিয়ে ভুলিয়ে নিতে পারো. The child is so innocent. He might be wearing a beautiful shirt worth 5 rupees, and you tell him, oh, yes, such a beautiful shirt, give it to me. First he will say, no, I will not give. And then you give him half a paise worth of a small doll, and he gets attracted and he says, okay, take this shirt, I want this doll. Such innocence, such simplicity is to be found only in the child. So Sri Ramakrishna says that you can exchange even a 5 rupee worth item, cloth, by simply giving him a insignificant, not even costing half a paise, not even costing any great value. You just give that small toy, and that fellow, he will give even a costliest thing that he has in his possession. He is not bothered because there is no attachment as such. Attachment is all namesake, like that mark of the fallen branch on coconut tree. It has got no significance. Just that attachment is there, fine. But it is so short-lived that it doesn't create any turbulence in his life. Otherwise, look at us. I mean, if we like something and somebody asks from us, can we ever, I mean, in normal circumstances, we will say, oh no, okay, I will try to get another one for you. These kind of excuses. And a child, you just show him a small insignificant. If he likes it, yes, you take whatever you want. That is in my possession, no problem. So that is the most uh, simple and innocent nature of the child. কিন্তু প্রথমে খুব আঁট করে বলবে এখন না আমি দেব না আমার বাবা কিনে দিয়েছে. You ask him for some costly thing that he is wearing and all. His initial reaction will be, no, I will not give. My father has given it to me with such love and affection. Huh? And then, when you show him that insignificant toy which costs nothing, next moment he will take out that cloth, take out that shirt, give it to you. Give me that. You know, how fast, how fast the mind changes from one thing to another because it is not attached like a grown up person. Now, বালকের আবার সবাই সমান, ইনি বড় উনি ছোট এরূপ বোধ নেই. And for a child, from child's perspective, there is no big, there is no small. For a child, everything is same. And that's why it is said that we take birth like a clean slate. We take birth like totally clean slate. There is nothing written on it. So pure, so innocent, so stainless. And as we grow, we start collecting all these stamps. As we grow, we start compiling all these qualities within our so-called personality. But the child is so pure. For child, there is no high, there is no low. Ini bodo, uni choto, eru bod noy. He's a big man, he's a small man, he's a highly rated person. That person has no worth. It is a worthless person. This kind of thought process is not there in the child at all. তাই জাতি বিচার নয়. That the child never thinks I am Brahmin, I am Kshatriya, I am Vaishya, he is Shudra. No, for the child. There is no caste bifurcation in the child's mind. For the child, everybody is alike. Everybody is alike. For the child, everybody is a form of the Lord. He never hates anybody. He never loves anybody, child. For child, everything is same. Now, তাই জাতি বিচার নয়. There is no caste discrimination among in the mind of the child. মা বলে দিয়েছে ও তোর দাদা হয়, সে ছুতোর হলেও এক পাতে বসে ভাত খাবে. If the mother tells him that fellow is your elder brother, that's it. Mother's word is ultimate to him. Then that person, even if he is a low caste, here the word Sri Ramakrishna has used is chutor, that is the carpenter, sutar. Even he is a low caste carpenter, doesn't matter for the child. His mother has told him that he is your dada, he is your elder brother. So that's it. For the child, that person, even if he is of the lowest caste, he is his brother. He will even go near him and start eating from his plate. There is no high and low in his mind. He won't even get affected by, oh, if I eat from his plate, people will outcast me. Nothing of that sort. Just his mother tells him, he's your elder brother. That's it. All he knows is what his mother tells him. বালকের ঘৃণা নয়. The mind of the child is so pure. The child is so pure. There is no hatred in its mind. In the child's mind, ঘৃণা নয়. There is no hatred. শুচি অশুচি বোধ নয়. There is not even a realization. There is no concept of purity, impurity, holiness, unholiness. Hmm? And we, oh, that is unholy. Don't touch it. This is holy. Grab it. We are all, behaving under those spells of wrong notions. But the child, pure at heart, pure at mind, for him, there is everything is same. There is nothing pure, there is nothing impure, there is nothing holy, there is nothing unholy. And पाय खानाय giye hate mati deina. Now, the traditionally, whenever people used to go to answer call of nature, they used to wash their hands. Those days, okay, the soap and all these things were not there. So the tradition used to be they will after performing their after relieving themselves, they would come and wash their hands with the soil. So I mean, kind of a cleaning process. So Sri Ramakrishna says the child, if it relieves itself, it won't even wash its hands with the soil. It won't even, it doesn't have that notion of cleanliness, uncleanliness, what is good, what is bad, because the mind is absolutely impeccable pure. There is no spot on it. There is the stainless, perfect. That is the nature, that is the mind of a child. And Sri Ramakrishna says that once you have the God realization, you become like a child. For you, everything is same. You might have these qualities of lust and anger and jealousy also. Children, they do have. But how short lived. They have anger, yes. The small children, they show their anger like anything. And in fact, when the children show their anger, we take great joy. We enjoy that scene and we start laughing. Look at the child, how angry he is. But that anger is like the sword touched by philosopher's stone. That anger is like that mark on the coconut tree. That I mean, okay, it is so harmless. It is so harmless. It is so pure. It is so innocent that we love that anger in the child. In fact, we make fun of it. We don't get hurt if a child gets angry. We like it. And that's how Sri Ramakrishna says, that is how a person with the God realization starts behaving. He might have all these passions within him, but there is no negative impact of these passions on any other person. So that was the teaching, Sri Ramakrishna telling us about the nature of the child and how a person becomes childlike. So that is our reading from the 7th chapter for today. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swami.